If you want to open a Capital One business account, here are the steps you need to follow. Step number one, you need to know the application info. And this is quite essential because Capital One is sort of a unique bank. They're not actually present physically, that is, in all 50 states. They are geographically concentrated, but you really can open an account, a business account with them, even if you're not in a location that they cover. So if your company is not in a geography that Capital One covers, you can still apply online, not a problem. And so the whole process starts by you visiting a local branch, and you have to bring your documents. You need to complete the process, and it takes about 15 to 30 minutes. In terms of geographical concentration, Capital One currently has 900 branches, including 30 cafe-style locations and about 2,000 ATMs. Okay, so they do have branches in Washington, D.C., and in the states of California, Connecticut, Delaware, Louisiana, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Texas, and Virginia. So you can see that their geographical coverage is not like it's not like we're only available on the East Coast or on the West Coast. No, you can see that they have chosen a few specific states where they actually have branches. I mean, this could be about the bank strategy. I mean, don't ask me about it. But the bottom line is, even if you're not in a state where Capital One is present, you can still apply. Not a problem, okay? So if you want to open a Capital One business account and you want to apply online or you want to apply at a branch, make sure that you are bringing your a form of ID, okay, that shows your personal information, name, date of birth, social. You have to mention your email address and phone number. You gotta have you have to show that you have a U.S. address, and they also need to see that it cannot be a PO box. It has to be a real address. You have to talk about the legal name of the business and the type of business, the business establishment date with signer's full name, the tax ID number, your EIN, the ownership structure. Do we have an LLC, an LP, a C corporation, an S corporation, number of employees you have, the percentage of ownership, and the annual gross revenue of the business. So Capital One just want to have all these things to make sure that you are legit, your business is legit, and that you are compliant with U.S. laws and also the states where you are incorporated. So step number one, you need to know the application info. The step number two, you have to have a clear idea of the documents that you need depending on the specific type of business you have. Okay, so let's say you are a corporation. So Capital One is asking you to have corporation required documents such as certified articles of incorporation or certificate of good standing or certificate of incorporation, formation and registration, and the IRS form SS4 CP 575A or the IRS letter 147C. That's if you are a C corporation. If you are an S corporation, they want to see certified articles of incorporation or certificate of good standing and IRS form SS4 CP 575A or IRS letter 147C. If you are a limited liability company, an LLC, you got to have certified articles of incorporation or certificate of formation, registration, or certificate of good standing, or signed and dated operating agreements, and IRS form SS4 CP57A or IRS letter 147C. If you are a series LLC, an SLLC, they want to have an operating agreement for the series LLC and certified certificate of formation. In other words, the managing LLC. And IRS form SS4 CP575A or IRS letter 147C. If you are a low profit LLC, you need to have a certified certificate of organization and IRS Form SS4 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. And if you are a limited liability partnership, you got to have signed and dated partnership agreement or certified evidence of registration with Secretary of State and IRS Form SS4 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. And if you are a general partnership, you need to have signed and dated partnership agreement or certified evidence of registration with the Secretary of State. And of course, IRS Form 554 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. We're not finished. We have to continue here. So if you are an LP, a limited partnership, you're going to have certified certificate of limited partnership or signed and dated partnership agreement or certified evidence of a registration with Secretary of State or certified certificate of good standing and IRS Form SS4 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. Those are really important. I mean, this might be thinking, you might be thinking, well, this is too much. No, Capital One pays attention to those things. And if you don't have the right documents, they will deny you. For if you are a sole proprietorship and you want to open a Capital One business account, there are no additional business documentation required. If you are an unincorporated association or club, you're going to have certified articles of organization or a charter letter from a national organization authorizing a local chapter, or recent meeting minutes, or signed and dated formal written agreements or bylaws, and IRS Form SS4 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. If you are an international business corporation, you need to have certified articles of incorporation or certificate of good standing and IRS Form SS4 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. If you're a nonprofit organization, Capital One wants to see non-for-profit articles of incorporation, if incorporated, of course, or recent meeting minutes on organization's letterhead, and the IRS Form SS4 CP575A or IRS Letter 147C. And they also want to see IRS Determination Letter 501c3 or Letter of Tax Exempt. And if you're a trust or a state, you want to open a Capital One business account, you need to have documents based on the entity type and the certificate of trust. So I just gave you, this was a little long list, but it is important that you know exactly what types of documents Capital One wants to see first before approving your business bank account. Step number 3, you need to know other important documentation. Okay. And the thing is, when we talk about Capital One in relations to their business bank accounts, remember that your online access after you open your account, your Capital One business account, your online access should be available within a few hours. I think based on our experience, we have seen that the quickest they actually have allowed a business owner to have access to. Actually, we opened this for one of our clients last week. It took about, give or take 2 hours. 2 hours, the account was live, was available. The clients could actually log in and do some transactions, not a problem. Okay. And so if you have a Capital One business bank account and you want to avoid incurring the monthly services fees on a checking account, make sure that you'll remember that for basic checking customers, the $15 monthly fee can be waived with a $2,000 minimum 30 or 90-day average, 90-day average balance. So that's if you have a basic checking from Capital One, the basic customer checking. And if you have the unlimited checking, so the $35 monthly fee can be waived with $25,000 minimum 30 or 90-day average balance. Okay, so those are the two things you need to think about. So $15, you got to maintain $2,000. For $35, if you want to avoid that, maintain 25 grand. And you can order checks. Actually, nowadays, a lot of business owners do their transactions online through Capital One. But if you love your checks, not a problem. You can actually order checks from Capital One. You have to log into your account. And if you go into account services and settings, you will see a section that says order checks. So there you can place your checkbook order that will ship it to you, not a problem. Okay. And remember, in general, when we speak about Capital One is a legit bank. So your deposits, anything, any money you put with Capital One, your deposits are insured because they're part of the FDIC, and they're insured up to $250,000. I mean, this is just the standard insurance, but it is what it is. Now let's dig a little deeper here. Step number 4, you need to know your preferred business checking accounts at Capital One. So when we talk about Capital One and we talk about their business checking accounts, you have 2 types of business checking accounts. Okay, they don't have a lot of checking accounts, business checking accounts, but hey, listen, Capital One is not a big bank. They're a big credit card provider, but they're not a big bank. They're more like a third tier bank. Okay, with the first tier being the Chase and the Bank of America over the world, and tier 2 being PNC, US Bank, Fifth Third, and Truist. And tier 3, you have a Capital One, you have TD, Ameritrade Bank, you have BMO Harris, right? So when it comes to Capital One business account, you have 2 types. You have the basic checking, and you have the unlimited checking. So for basic checking, this is a business checking that you can actually use for your basic cash flow management needs. Okay, so you have 1 core accounts for your everyday banking activities. You can simplify your cash flow management with unlimited digital transactions every month. Okay, so I explained to you how you can waive the $15 monthly service fee. Okay, and so it is what it is. So you actually have this is basically for a business that wants simple cash flow or simple cash flow account management processes. And then you have the unlimited checking. So here this is kind of cool if you are looking for more flexibility in terms of your cash flows. Okay, so this is kind of perfect for businesses with higher balances. You have more money movement, so you can focus on the big picture. You can stay in control of your business with checking that's designed to meet your needs. Okay, and you have no fee cash deposits. You can take advantage of next day funds, save time with Capital One Pro deposits, and you can deposit on the go with the mobile app. So you do have a constellation of options that come with not only with checking, but also with unlimited checking, but also with basic checking. Okay, things like overdraft coverage. You have business checking, bank on the go, fee-free digital, 24/7 access, online bill pay. So those are a couple of things those are a couple of perks that come with Capital One in terms of their business checking accounts. So business checking accounts, they only have 2 options: basic and unlimited. I want to talk to you quickly about online banking. And I said at the beginning of this show that Capital One is essentially an online bank. I mean, they are geographically present in some states, but overall, their strength, their forte, really lies on their online capabilities. Okay, their mobile app, their websites. It doesn't matter if you live somewhere in Idaho, you live in Iowa, you live in Mississippi, you live in a state where Capital One is not physically present. They don't have branches. You can still qualify for a business business account. Okay, and what we love about Capital One is that they have a diversity of tools that made the bank, I would say, suitable for any small business owner who wants to actually jump on the online banking bandwagon. So they have remote deposits. They have no limits. In other words, you can make as many digital transactions as you want without worrying about fees or limits. They offer online bill pay. Okay, they allow you to set alerts that basically help you control movements in and out of your account. You have total oversight. Okay, and on top of that, you can do those from your phone, your computer, your tablets, your desktop, and whatnot. They have a powerful all-in-one app that allows you to have all the easy to use tools on the go. So this is really great. So overall, this is a great solution. And one thing I want to say also is that Capital One actually has something called their mobile deposit that actually allows you to snap a photo with your phone to deposit a check everywhere. Think about that. So to deposit a check in a flash, just sign into your account in the Capital One mobile app, take a photo and confirm the details. You'll have access to your funds as quickly as you would with a bank teller, and it works pretty much anywhere. Okay, so this is really cool. And what we love here is that Capital One is constantly trying to improve their offer. They're adding new settings every single day, and we just love that. One thing I want to say also is that Capital One in the last few years, they have actually come up with services that were designed specifically for small businesses, and we really love that. We love the fact that they were actually making sure that they talk to small business owners and find solutions to their problems. And this is one thing that we expect Capital One to do more of in the next few years. So I have spoken to you about Capital One business checking accounts. I talked about their online banking. Now I want to talk to you about their business savings account, because they actually offer a business savings account. And the thing is that they don't have a lot of savings account. Like, their offer is pretty limited, but they will actually help you if you. The reason why you might want to have a business savings account with the Capital One is because you want to have access to their credit cards, their business credit cards or their personal credit cards. Okay, because they're not really paying you like the APY on their savings products are like maybe 0.5% or 1% or 2%. So this is like nothing, but it's the relationship. Okay, it's the relationship that you are after. You want to build that relationship so that you can parlay that relationship at the right time into a great credit card, business credit card, or personal credit card for that matter, from Capital One with a high enough limit. That's how you play the game. So Capital One is kind of similar to Discover. Those two institutions are not strong banks. However, if you can have a strong relationship with them, then you can parlay that relationship into something else on the credit card side. Okay, and in terms of Capital One savings account, they're pretty, I would say pretty straightforward. If you need more information, just call 1-800, not 1-800, not 1-888 755-2172. 1-888-755-2172. So they'll take care of you. They'll explain everything to you. You'll need to provide the same types of information that you had provided for the business checking accounts, and they'll just take care of you. Okay, you can grow your money. You have a guaranteed rate. You can withdraw money from the checking accounts. You have ATM usage, overdraft coverage, reduced cost. You have online banking. You have a lot of stuff. Okay, and it really depends on what type of what kind of information, what kind of goal you're after in terms of your cash flow management. And one thing I also want to say here is that remember that you can always have a business checking account and a business savings account at Capital One. To close today's conversation, I want to talk to you about escrow services and also merchant services. This is important. So when we talk about escrow services at Capital One, you need to understand that this is great for organizations that want to simplify time-consuming tasks. Capital One provides robust reporting capabilities and ensure financial transparency when it counts the most. Okay, so when we talk about the Escrow Express service at Capital One, you have 24/7 access. So you have access to escrow funds online via Capital One Intellix platform, where you can set user permission levels at any time. You have audit preparedness. Okay, you can prepare for audit with legally compliant documentation. You have sub accounts online, so you can pay interest, manage disbursement schedules, submit W-9s, and more. You have detailed reporting, so you can get in-depth reports plus account summaries and statements. You have convenience payouts. Okay, you can make final payouts simple with a variety of payment methods. You have year-end documents. You can receive system-generated 1099 statements each year. This is kind of cool. So basically, what Capital One is trying to say here is that they're trying to actually, they have a service that they're trying to market to a constellation of industries: attorneys, property managers, government entities, real estate agents, 1031 exchanges, and more. Okay, and this is kind of cool. One thing I also want to say here is that they have 3 types of Escrow Express accounts. So they have tenant security, they have attorney trust, and they have escrow standards. Okay, tenant security, attorney trust, and escrow standards. So those are the 3 things where actually Capital One is able to differentiate itself from the competition. And let me close to this conversation by talking to you about Capital One Merchant Services. So if you are interested in having and opening a Capital One business account, maybe you might be interested also in having taking a look at their merchant services. Okay, and when we talk about merchant services, it just means that you're able to speed up your business's cash flow with secure and reliable payment processing solutions from Capital One. Okay, so Capital One Merchant Services actually is powered by WorldPay. Okay, so basically you're giving your customers the flexibility to pay with a variety of different methods while giving you access to funds the next day. Okay, next day. So there are a lot of benefits that come with this service from Capital One. You have mobile options. You can go digital. You have next day cash. You have fraud protection. You have more ways to pay, really. You have clear reporting, so you are getting actionable data insights to help you grow your business. If you're interested in learning more about Capital One Merchant Services, give them a call, 343-8447, 866-343-8447. Or you can just fill out the form that they have a form on their website, and you can just fill out that form and somebody will contact you. Okay, and one thing you need to understand here is that Capital One actually has one of the lowest fees in the industry when it comes to merchant services. And they do cover all the credit cards. They cover all the major credit cards: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. Okay, they also cover gift and loyalty cards. They also have other options that they cover, including EMV, contactless, PayPal, and more. So you can see here that you actually are in good hands. Literally, you are indeed in good hands. So this is kind of cool. And one thing I want to say here is that you do have options when it comes to POS terminals, point of sale software. Okay, and so just call the number I just gave you, 866-343-8447, and they'll just walk you through to let you know what kind of POS device you need, if any. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to open a Capital One business account. Step number 1, know the application info. Number 2, no documents needed. Number 3, no information, important documentation, important information. Number 4, know your preferred business checking accounts. You have a basic checking, unlimited checking, you have online banking, business savings, and you also have other services like Escrow, Express, and merchant services. Thank you.